You're smart, successful, self-aware, but your relationship still feels like it's falling apart. You've done the therapy. Maybe you've actually read the books and you know you're part of the problem. You have things that you need to work on by far, but you just keep finding yourself in these painful conversations over and over again. It's exhausting. If your communication always seems to keep breaking down into defensiveness and blame, criticism and shutdown, then this video is going to hit home. Let's talk about one of the main reasons that your relationship is failing, and I'm going to show you 5 strategies on how to change that. Before we jump in, hit the subscribe button, make sure you turn the bell for notifications for when I post a video weekly, and also comment and share, or maybe even share this video with your partner or anyone else who you think is going to be a good candidate to hear this information. And if you're interested in working together, click the link in the comments to schedule a discovery call with me where we can determine if you're a good fit for my program. Most people think that the problems in their relationship are with the relationship itself. And the real problem is that you're simply unaware of how you are contributing to the problem. You think it's your partner, but guess what? Your partner also thinks it's you. The truth is, it's both of you. Both of you are contributing to the problem in ways that you may not even understand. So get locked in. Really focus on, when you're listening to this video, I want you to really focus on yourself. I want you to focus on what are my patterns, what am I doing to contribute to the problem, and so you can really start taking responsibility for how these patterns are affecting the relationship in a negative or dysfunctional way. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Your relationship is the product, the end result of the 2 people that are in it. You are the creators of your relationship. And if it's struggling, then it's on you and your partner individually to take responsibility and really figure out how you are fucking it up. Most couples tend to focus on the reaction of their partner and what the other person is doing to them, and they end up communicating about that. But what's more important is what you are making those reactions and what that person is doing mean, and investigating what this is bringing up inside of you that is connected to your past. See, there are several unconscious factors that are going into your relationship and are affecting the health of the relationship. We're going to focus on 2 of those factors in this video to really help you understand exactly what I mean. These 2 factors work hand in glove. The first one is called implicit communication. This is a form of non-verbal communication where meaning is suggested or implied rather than directly stated. And the second is implicit learning. This is a type of learning that happens unconsciously or automatically, and it may even happen without the learner even knowing that it's happening, or the learning process is taking place and they don't even understand that they're learning something new. So when you're only focused on behavior, what somebody did, you conflict and argue about that behavior itself, but you're missing the real issue. The real issue is what we're making something mean and what that is teaching about you and your partner about one another based on those reactions. So let's look at some examples of implicit communication. When you bring something up, your partner rolls their eyes and they say things like, "Oh no, not this again." When you're not in the mood and your partner gives out a big sigh and abruptly turns over in bed. When you make a mistake and your partner gives you that look of disappointment or frustration, or even makes fun of you by laughing at you. When you try to bring something up to your partner that's really hard for you to discuss and your partner shuts down. In each of these situations, you or your partner are communicating implicitly. The meaning is suggested to your partner or implied using body language, gestures like sighs or sarcastic laughter, grunts, eye rolls, different types of looks, staring off into space. The other half of that is the implicit learning, what the recipient of this is making it mean. So let's go back through these examples to decipher the meaning, the implicit learning from each of these. The first one, when you try to bring something up, your partner rolls their eyes and says, "Not this again." The meaning that the person is taking from that might be, he doesn't care how I feel. He thinks I'm annoying. Number 2, when your partner's not in the mood, you let out a big sigh and you abruptly turn over, meaning she's never in the mood. She probably doesn't love me anymore. I hate feeling rejected. She doesn't care. Next one, when you make a mistake and your partner gives you that look of disappointment, frustration, or even makes fun of you by laughing at you, meaning I have to be perfect. I can't make mistakes. She thinks I'm an idiot. I'm failing. And the last one, when you try to bring something up to your partner and it's very difficult for you to talk about and they shut down, meaning It's always my fault. I never feel understood. I should just keep my mouth shut. It's pointless. Each of these examples is going to lead to defensiveness, stonewalling, criticism, and contempt, the four horsemen according to Gottman. But on a deeper level, they do so much more than that. They teach your partner that you're not there for them, and then trust breaks down. They also trigger one of the 20 different schemas. Now, schemas are different for everybody, but they are all connected to our deeper emotional wounds. And examples of those are like abandonment or mistrust, defectiveness, emotional deprivation, or self-sacrifice. When a schema gets activated, these are very emotional moments for us. They are very much tied into our deeper core needs of feeling safe, feeling loved, and feeling worthy. Many of us grew up with a lot of implicit communication that we learned from our parents who mistreated or threatened or intimidated us or withheld their love and connection. Here's some examples of implicit learning that many of us had. If you're over 40, you can probably relate to these statements. Finish the sentence. I'll give you something to ... I brought you into this world and I ... Just wait until ... As long as you live under my roof. Children should be seen and... Now, if you can finish those statements, you know exactly what implicit learning is about. These statements were made to you, and you deciphered the meaning of what that all meant to you growing up, and it triggers some degree of emotional wounding that is connected to what those stereotypical messages were. Now, don't get me wrong, reactions happen no matter what. We cannot, completely be non-reactive. As much as we don't want them to happen, they do happen because we become fearful, and our fearful reactions have an effect on the people around us. When these reactions happen, implicit communication is starting and the implicit learning process begins. This is how we inadvertently create schemas in other people, like our partners or our children. When we don't have enough safety in our relationships to be vulnerable in our communication style, and we can't actually talk about what we're making something mean or how something makes us feel, that builds a schema. That's what creates the schemas over time. And then these stories that we tell ourselves just kind of snowball and coalesce, and that's how they form into a schema belief. It's because we make meaning out of things and we start defining ourselves or other people out of these belief systems. I'm going to go into how to reverse this pattern when it comes to implicit communication and implicit learning, and I'm going to give you 5 steps on how to do this. But before we go into those 5 steps, there's something that you must absolutely understand anytime you're trying to create change in yourself. Everything you do, your behavior, comes from your belief system. So in order for you to truly change your behavior, you must examine the beliefs that make that behavior run. So think about this as like the programming behind the scenes of your computer. So, if you're using an Apple, you have an Apple iOS system that is the chip inside of your computer that is running the programs that's making your Safari work or making your iCalendar work. If you want to fundamentally change the behavior of your computer, you have to go into the system and reprogram it. Human beings are no different. We are basically working computers. Our behavior is the output, but that behavior is being run by the programming that we have, the belief systems that we carry. So the first step is the belief that you must adopt in order to change the pattern from being brought out in your behavior. In my program, Breaking Reactive Patterns, the blueprint for building a safe and healthy relationship, we use the 7 tenets of relational safety. And the first tenet, which is the most important and is completely connected to implicit communication and implicit learning, is I take full responsibility for my behavior and the effect it has on other people, whether intended or not. Adopting this belief is far harder than it seems. To take full responsibility, you have to not only look at your behavior, but you also have to take responsibility for any excuses that you make or how you defend yourself, the rationalizations you make, minimization that you have in your behavior, or that you blame your partner for how you act. Even as you try to imagine these behaviors now, you may unconsciously automatically be trying to defend yourself. Well, the reason I yelled is because she yelled at me. That is not taking full responsibility. Taking full responsibility is that regardless of what the other person does, I am responsible for myself. I do not excuse my behavior because you did something to me first. That is a justification, and it completely sabotages the entire process within yourself. So if you're leveling yourself up to become a stronger person, you must be 100% responsible for the things that you do. The second step to reverse this dysfunctional communication patterns is to build your awareness around them. Now, that might seem obvious, but everything in psychology or behavior change requires that first. You must have awareness of what you do and how you do it. And honestly, most of us are very unaware of ourselves. We walk around the world thinking that whatever we're doing is fine, and we're not aware of the impact it's having on the people around us. So we have to build awareness to that. So in that process, I want you to make a list, or better yet, even ask your partner, what is the implicit communication patterns that you have? Number 3, spend some time with that list and ask yourself first, if this was the message, how would that make my partner feel? And second, what message would I get if my partner was doing that to me? How would I feel if that was being done to me? So that's the connecting points. So many times what I've seen in couples is that one of them that will say, well, you yell at me. And the other one will say, well, you yell at me. And I will say, how does it make you feel when your partner yells at you? Bad. How does it make you feel when your partner yells at you? Bad. So it's not a tit for tat. We cannot get ourselves caught in a communication pattern that says very immaturely, like, well, you did it to me first, or you do that to me, so that gives me permission to do it to you. No. That's against tenet number 1. You must take full responsibility for yourself. Regardless of however your partner is acting, it does not give you the green light to act however you want. So you must connect to how it feels when your partner is doing it to you, or what you think your partner is feeling when you do it to them. Number 4, this is the deep end. So when you get into understanding your own patterns and how they're emotionally affecting your partner, you want to go even deeper. And the deeper part of this is that given what I know about my partner's history, what they've been through in their lives, how they've been treated, what they've gone through with difficult people in their lives, if I act this way to them, what do I think this brings up in them? For instance, if my partner grew up with a father who was very critical, what do I think happens inside of them when I get critical of them? If my partner grew up feeling like they're not enough, or emotionally deprived by their parents, or kind of neglected, what happens inside of them when I reject them or make fun of them, put them down? If my partner grew up abandoned by the people that they love, what happens when I leave the house during conflict, or completely shut down to my partner and refuse to talk to them? There are dozens and dozens of different examples that you could kind of pull from, given what you know about your partner or what maybe they know about you. Number 5, go to your partner and ask them to honestly answer the question to number 4. You've kind of guessed what this is like for them, and I'm trying to get you to engage in your empathy so that you can really eradicate this implicit communication and implicit learning. But this is where we're trying to take that from the unconscious and make it conscious. So actually go to them and ask them to honestly answer question number 4. Sit with them and listen to understand. Don't listen to respond. Listen to understand, and do not defend yourself. So when I act like this, when I leave the house, when we argue, what does that bring up in you? Given that you were abandoned when you were a kid, really listen to that and just thank them for sharing that with you. The goal, of course, is to shine a gigantic light of awareness on these very unconscious patterns that are going on inside of your relationship, to know in a much deeper way that when you roll your eyes or smirk or sarcastically laugh at your partner, you're actually bringing up a pretty deep emotional wound in them that makes them feel terrible about themselves, or reminds them of that emotional trauma that happened to them in their childhood. Spending time honestly answering these questions is going to really help you out to get to know yourself better and to get to know your partner better, and also contribute to truly understanding why the conflict patterns in your relationship keep cycling. And it's also going to give you a better sense of how you're damaging your partner's sense of worth or safety or love. Now remember, you cannot control how your partner reacts, But you can take responsibility for your side of the street to keep it clean and to make sure that you are not engaging in behavior that you know is detrimental to your relationship. That means you build awareness of your facial expressions, your tone of voice, your negative reactions like walking away or slamming doors or sarcastically laughing. And when you do this in your relationship, when you truly understand the ways that you implicitly communicate and what you're making something mean, then you can start having some ability to be skeptical of that. Like, does it really mean that my partner doesn't love me anymore because he doesn't want to be intimate with me? No, we're entitled to be not in the mood. Does it really mean that my partner is going to abandon me or leave me for somebody else because he walks out the door when we have a fight? No, that's his ability to stay safe. Maybe it's his ability to just kind of calm down and he doesn't want to do anything to hurt you. So you have to be able to examine what you're making these things mean and get skeptical about them. Like, instead of just thinking that whatever I'm thinking is true or a fact, we have to question our mind because our mind lies to us. It tells us all kinds of erroneous things. Now, if you're interested in getting far deeper into this and really figuring yourself out, because these patterns are pretty deep inside of the relationship, or they've gone on for so long that your relationship is really on thin ice or it's crumbling, you need to look into my program, Breaking Reactive Patterns, the blueprint for building a safe and healthy relationship. Inside the program, we're going to work to identify the reactive parts in you that were used to help you navigate the dysfunctional people in your life. But these parts of you are no longer working. Now they're sabotaging your relationship. I'm also going to help you work to get to the root of the problem, really understand the schema patterns that got formed from childhood and early adulthood and how these parts of you really keep you stuck and miserable. You know, they don't really get into this in podcasts, or some types of therapy never even address this, but in this program, we actually get to the root of the issue. Next, we're going to really build the skills that you never learned to truly understand how to love someone. Finally, we're going to learn how to communicate through vulnerability so that you can be far more authentic and more connected in your relationships. I've helped clients move from defensiveness and blame to feeling far more confident and emotionally safe in their partnership, and so that they can know how to lead with presence and integrity. And so what happens as a result of going through my program? My participants have reported that they feel far more calm, there's less chaos, there's more connection, there's more openness and conversation, and they feel like they are finally at a place where their partner can be safe to open up to them, who wants to come towards them or not away from them. So when you change the beliefs that drive your disconnection and defensiveness, then communication is so much easier. You change the whole emotional climate of your relationship because you've reworked that programming. If you're ready to stop playing out these arguments and you're ready to really finally become the partner that you deserve to be and that your partner needs, then check out my program, Breaking Reactive Patterns. It's not just more information, it's a blueprint to transform. A reminder to click the link in the comment below to schedule a free discovery call to see if we are the right fit for each other in this program. Comment below with the communication mistakes that you've made and that you're ready to change. And don't forget to subscribe for more grounded, honest tools to rebuild connection. And for more information, watch this video next. And as always, thank you so much for watching.